Have the Cowboys done enough this offseason to be taken seriously?
Come on, big dog. No, you know that.
You ain't right.
Well, the kicker is this. If you took the Cowboys seriously before this offseason, then yes. If you didn't take the Cowboys seriously before this offseason, then no. The Cowboys haven't done anything this offseason. You hired a defensive coordinator, top-flight defensive coordinator, by the way, and Dan Quinn coached the #1 defense back-to-back years, first time since the mid-1980s. So I'm going to pay him his respect. However, he still got the same pieces. I mean, Leighton Vander Esch, the star linebacker for the Cowboys, he going to be healthy or not? DeMarcus Lawrence, star defensive end for the Cowboys, you going to be a 6-sack guy or 13.5-sack guy that used to be before you got paid? You still got the same pieces. So just because you got the top-flight DC doesn't mean all of a sudden you will have a top-flight defense. Now, on the flip side, offensively, what have they done? Like Dak Prescott in the last 3 years, 30-27 as a starter. Like, I'm just not convinced that this team should be taken seriously, regardless of these moves. Again, when I talk about notable offseason activity, I look at the Cowboys' offseason activity. They're unnotable offseason activity. I mean, they got an O lineman that they signed, a 35-year-old O lineman, kind of a swing offensive tackle, but can play all across the line, to my knowledge. Then they signed a long snapper, Marcellus Wiley. Now,
you got to have that.
Long snappers, you do got to have that, but they didn't do anything notable. The same Cowboys team that they're about to roll out up to next season is the same Cowboys team they rolled out last season. The difference is they re-signed Dak Prescott, but what have I told you and what will I continue to tell you? Just because you got richer does not mean you got better. Dak Prescott got richer. Is he going to be better? Time will tell, because the Dak Prescott that we've fallen in love with, 13-3, playoffs, loss. 10-6, playoffs, loss. 8-8, 2-3. The Dak Prescott we all know and love is good, but are we taking his team seriously? We ain't got no reason to, not in my opinion.
Oh, man, you know I'm taking this seriously, but I must give you props for how you started off your take in saying if you took the Cowboys seriously before,
yes, sir, take them seriously.
Then this is confirmation bias in terms of no moves, it's good moves. And I'm going to stay on that side of the fence. Obviously, I know you're on the other side of the fence. We'll talk through this fence. The biggest move they made was signing Dak Prescott. Now, I don't want to sit here and let that go understated. Who was the #1 free agent on everyone's list if available? Dak Prescott. Sorry, Trent Williams. Dak Prescott, even though Trent got paid. Good Lord. Damn, he big, too. I'm glad I retired. That's a sucker. Woo! Dak Prescott, #1. So hold on. You're trying to tell me right now that if some team, any team, not the team that you don't like, even though it's a little self-hate going on because you're from Dallas, but anyway, any team that signs the #1 free agent, you're not giving them props? Why not? How could you make that make sense? So, one, the thing that they did best was sign their own free agent in Dak Prescott. Now, let's talk about this roster, because this is an uber-talented roster. You know how talented this roster is? So talented that we think they underachieve every year. So talented that when we think of this roster, we're like, they can win it all if everything works out for them and they make it happen. So now we can't use that talented roster and sit there and say, well, where are your additions? Where are your notable free agents? Why? We got everything we need in-house. We just got to make it work. And who's the one that stirs the pot the best in Dallas? Dak Prescott. You caught that right there. So let's talk about this. When you talk about the Dallas Cowboys with Dak and without Dak, they're two different animals. So you want to talk about the free agents they got? Here they are. Ezekiel Elliott. Without Dak, 107 yards a game. With Dak, 107 yards a game. Without Dak, 78. Ask CeeDee Lamb how's it feel to be without Dak. Ask Amari Cooper how it is without Dak. Ask Michael Gallup how it is without Dak. The point is, just getting Dak is almost like getting free agents back, because their names are the same, but the games are much different. Got to bring in Fox NFL analyst Bucky Brooks. So, Bucky, have the Cowboys done enough this offseason to be taken seriously? Say yes.
Absolutely yes, because they re-signed the best quarterback in the division. When you look at the playoff landscape, the teams that go to the playoffs are the teams with the best quarterbacks. When I look at Dak Prescott, he is clear, head and shoulders above any of the quarterbacks in the NFC East. Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones, Ryan Fitzpatrick, that gives them an inside track to win the division. The division gives you a lottery ticket to get into the postseason. You get into the postseason, you're one of 7 teams that has a chance to win it. So the Cowboys are ahead of schedule. Also, when you look at how the Dallas Cowboys want to play, Dak Prescott was averaging 371 rushing yards passing yards per game when he got hurt last year. That comes on the heels of a season in which he was averaging 306 yards per game. So in the last 21 games, he's averaging well over 300 yards. So we have seen him put this offense on his back. You alluded to the diminishing returns from Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, when Dak Prescott isn't on the field. By just getting number 4 back on the field, it makes it right. But, oh, by the way, the offense improves because Tyron Smith comes back, Leo Collins comes back. Now they can begin to dominate with the offense, which is their best defense. So without even adding anything else to the mix, the Cowboys are a much better team. And now you have to take them seriously because they have a top 5 quarterback back on the field.
Here's what I don't understand, fellas.
What?
You all continue to dine at this restaurant in Dallas, this Cowboys Cafe, and the menu remains the same. The chef remains the same. The GM of the restaurant remains the same. And somehow you all expect to taste a different meal. You got a 78-year-old general manager in Jerry Jones who hasn't general managed this team to a championship game since 1995. You got an owner, 78, and Jerry Jones, who hasn't owned this team to a championship game since 1995. You have a quarterback, Dak Prescott, a very good quarterback, but he hasn't quarterbacked this team to a championship game since he got in the league in 2016. So I'm not exactly sure. Oh, wait, forgot one guy. You got a head coach, Mike McCarthy, who hasn't posted a winning season as a head coach since 2016. So y'all gonna come back to the same Cowboys Cafe when they got hair in the food, they got roaches running down on the floor.
Hair on your chicken.
You just seen some rats running down through the restaurant. And for whatever reason, Bucky, you've read the Yelp reviews. I'm telling you the Yelp reviews. Sal, you done read the Yelp reviews. I've told you the Yelp reviews. But somehow y'all are expecting that this Cowboys team is going to prepare for you all a championship caliber meal, though they haven't done so and haven't changed any of the true necessary inherent pieces. So y'all got to make this make sense. Y'all throwing pennies into the water and wishing well.
Okay, so I think I heard this great quote on Monday night. Let me see if I can remember. History is to be remembered, but all history is not to be celebrated. So we're going to talk about history. So history tells me that because the Cowboys haven't done it in a while, they're not going to do it. But yet I've sat up here and had conversation with you about Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns hadn't been to the playoffs since 2002, 2003. But yet they went to the playoffs because Baker Mayfield and the offense got right. So now, here's what we're going to do with a little history.
They got a good coach.
History tells me that Mike McCarthy has led a team to a Super Bowl, but it happened in his second year, once he got all the pieces of the puzzle right. There weren't any major changes in Green Bay when he took that over. He just taught them how to play and play winning football. This is year 2. Dak Prescott comes back. He's happy. He got his money. So now away we go with the Dallas Cowboys led by the offense.
So let me get this straight.
I'm not ready to celebrate history. I'm just remembering the history that I've been taught. So I'm just in school. Okay?
Look, Bucky, just because you use my own words against me don't mean you win an argument. Okay?
It does?
But let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Because Marcellus, this is what I heard. Someone correct me if I am wrong.
What?
Bucky, you are hoping that Mike McCarthy in year 2, head coach for the Cowboys, who made several crucial pivotal game-losing errors last year. In 4 games, I can count, and I can give them to you if you would like me to regurgitate them. You're telling me that you're banking on Mike McCarthy to write this shit. Because that, to me, is ignorance. We saw Mike McCarthy against the Atlanta Falcons, down 14-0, fake a punt at his own 21-yard line. We saw Mike McCarthy against the Seattle Seahawks make an idiotic decision at his own red zone. We saw Mike McCarthy, I believe it was against the Cleveland Browns, fake another punt. Bucky Brooks, you are hoping that Mike McCarthy will revert back to 2009, 10, and 11 Mike McCarthy. That's what you're banking on.
Okay, so we're going to have another history lesson because, see, I'm old enough to remember when Michael Jordan came back wearing 45. He came back wearing 45 and they fell short. He put on the 23 the next year and away they went. So just because you're a little rusty in your debut with the new team doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that. So as Mike McCarthy shakes out the cobwebs, kind of remembers what it's like to kind of manage a team and organize it after sitting on the sideline for a year, yes, he made some mistakes, but now he's better for it. Because remember, he is a Super Bowl champion. And I was taught once you win a Super Bowl, they always have to refer to you as a Super Bowl champion. So he certainly understands how to get to the winner's circle and how to win. And so I'm banking that he understands how to manage the game better, but he also has a quarterback that continues to rise. And as you guys were waxing poetic about Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson and all these quarterbacks that we're excusing away why they can't elevate their team, I'm just saying, if we're going to remember those guys and celebrate those guys in that light, why can't we celebrate Dak Prescott for what he's been able to do with his team and what he will be able to do with the team fully intact this season?
Man, it's tough, man. Acho is just, a fish out of water right now. He with two elder statesmen up here. Acho studied history, but we lived history, Acho. This is the problem right here. You don't always need new ingredients to bake a better cake. Ooh, my grandma showed me that. Okay, let's look at the last two Super Bowl champions just for reference purposes. Let's go back to last year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Acho says, why would you trust an organization and a team and a coach that's never done it? Has Bruce Arians ever won a Super Bowl before last year? No, no, no. Was Tampa Bay the most losing franchise in sports history before last year? Yes, yes, yes. And now I'm supposed to trust in Tampa Bay? Oh, yeah, now you do, because they got Tom Brady. Let's go the year before, where they didn't have to get a new quarterback. I knew you was going to go there. Trust me, walk with me. So we go to Kansas City. They hadn't won a championship in 50 years. And they had a coach in Andy Reid, who had never won a championship as a head coach. 5 NFC championship appearances, never could get it over that hump. And all of a sudden, you would have told me they could never win it. Why? Because they don't have the ingredients there. Oh, my grandma would have went like this to you. Yes, you can if you get it done. So, Acho, looking at history, it sounds like you don't like history. You more into his story.